All right, all right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloyim, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad. The Akim and the Akwat that's listening in Salakia. Yahweh Ratazalo, willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Mwam back at you with another lesson, and the title of this lesson is going to be called Still Worshiping the Calf. And the reason I named it that title was because I was meditating on Exodus 32, all right, when it speaks about how, when Yahweh Bashim Yahushua was given, the laws to Moses, and he was up in the mountain for 30 days. All right. Basically, they were worshiping cows. All right. They had made themselves two molten calves of gold and started worshiping upon them. Okay. And Moses became very wroth and angry, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua was very angry with the people. All right. But, in a spiritual sense, it's pretty much what they're doing the same thing today. All right. Because America, okay, as I have here, get that real quick. Screen record. Go. America is considered the cash cow. All right, and a calf is what? A calf is a female, which will be the cow. All right, the male will be considered the bull. All right, but America is that cash cow, which America is considered as that female, the whore of Babylon. All right. So it says a cash cow type of business. A cash cow is a company or business unit in a mature, slow growth industry. Cash cows have a large share of the market and require little investment. For example, the iPhone is Apple's cash cow. All right. But the point is that America's that cash cow because, you have all these different cities, Salakia, these different countries that come from around the world to make money in America. All right. So America's known to be that land of opportunity, that money maker. All right. Which will make it to be that cash cow. Okay. Now, let me read. Okay. And like I said, it's in a spiritual sense, basically on a symbolic type speaking. It's just something I was meditating on when I was reading Exodus. Let me get Exodus 32. Let me get it from here. Salakia. This is Exodus 32. And 1. It says the golden calf. And it says, and when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, up, make us gods. It said, up, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me, And all the people break off the golden earrings which were in their ears and brought them to unto Aaron. All right. So, you already get the point. Aaron told them to bring all the gold. And this is how they pretty much got that golden calf. Okay. Which I'm gonna go on a precept real quick. This is Acts 7. I'll start at 38. And it says, that is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the living oracles to give unto us. All right, talking about the law, statutes, and commandments, to whom our fathers would not obey, but thrust him from them, and in their hearts turned back again into Egypt. And saying unto Aaron, make us gods to go before us. For as for this Moses, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we want not what is become of him. And they made a calf in those days and offered sacrifice unto the idol and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets, O ye house of Israel, ye have offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness. All right. Let me read that again. It says, then Yahweh turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of prophets, O ye house of Israel, have ye offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness? Yeah, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Rephan, something like that. Matter of fact, let me get it right now. Forgot how you say that. Rephan. Salakia. There you go.
Rephan, Q and Moloch.
Rephan. That's how you say it. All right. So it says, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Rephan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. All right. So, and it's basically the same thing today. These 2/3 and are still pretty much worshiping onto Molech. All right. And then it says, which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Okay. Now, going back, let's see. It's like I'm just reading something else. Yeah. All right. So going back to Exodus 32. All right. 34. And it says, and he received them at their hand and fashioned it a graving tool with the graving tool after he made it a molten calf. And they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. All right. So you got Aaron, all right, that's basically telling them that these are the gods, okay, which have brought them out of the land of Egypt, when Yahweh Yahushua was the one that brought them out of the land of Egypt. All right. And another reason why, okay, it made me think of today's society that we're pretty much still worshiping that calf is because, like it tells you in Revelations, all right, 11 and 8 says what? And their dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, all right, meaning that we are spiritually dead, all right, because he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead in the street of the great city, which the great city is Babylon, all right, Babylon the Great, America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, you see, because we still have the same spirits of today, all right. You got all this fagonometry going on like in the times of Sodom and Egypt, right? We live in the times of Egypt basically by still being in bondage. How you look on the dollar bill and everything is, symbolism of Egypt. Okay, so it's considered as spiritually Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. All right, meaning that, everything that was of the truth was crucified, was pretty much taken away. All right, and that was in America. So my throat is all messed up. Right. So again, it says, and he received them, this is 32 and 4, and he received them out of their hand and fashioned it with the graving tool after he had made a molten calf. And they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. All right. Now, another thing that makes me think of, all right, is Isaiah 30. Right. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, all right, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. All right. So, our people today trust in the shadow of Egypt. All right. They trust in the society. They trust in their oppression. All right, in their oppressor. Okay, because again, this is speaking about America that walked down to go into Egypt. Okay. Let's go to the next chapter. It says, Isaiah 31 and 1, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because there are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. Okay. Now the Egyptians are men and not God. All right. Just like in today. All right. These damn Edomites. All right. They are men. They are not God. And their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall stretch out his hand, both he and that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together. All right. But going back to why I pretty much compared it to today's society, because if America's the cash cow, right, pretty much everybody that's in the society today makes America their God, makes the ways of America their God, taking on the image of this place, which, at the end of the day, the ultimate image that they're going to be taken upon is going to be the MOTB, the RFID chip that is being implemented pretty soon. Right now they're hitting you with gradualism left to right, to train you and prepare your mind for what's about to come in this new world order. All right. But again, these people in the society make everything their God except Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, because you don't necessarily have to be bound down to gods for you to make something your God, man. Just you got men out here that are making women their gods. You got people out here that make their jobs their gods, make their money their gods. All right, anything that you put before Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, all right, that is what you are making your God. Okay. So again, 31:3. Now the Egyptians are men, all right, and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together. So that's why, he that justifieth the wicked, all right, that helpeth this damn society to bring everything to, to a certain agenda, all right, he that justifieth the wicked shall both be an abomination. All right. Now, going back to Exodus 32. And Salakia, let me get Psalms real quick. Let me get it from here. Psalms 106. Let's see what I got in my notes too. This is Psalms 106. And I'll start from 19. And it says, they made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the molten image. Thus they changed their glory into the similitude of an ox that eateth grass. They forgot Yahweh, their Savior. All right, they forgot Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt. The same thing today. You don't acknowledge what Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai has truly done for our people, man. Time after time again. As a matter of fact, I was going into the lesson earlier on the highways and hedges, talking about how Purim came about, which that was a beautiful, that whole chapter, that whole book of Esther was beautiful, man. How we were going to be put to death, all right? But if it wasn't for Mordecai and Esther, all right, pretty much they saved the day. All right, and everything was reversed for us to basically put our hands on the enemy. All right, and anybody that was against this word, and they ended up being put to death, man. That's all through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man, and his beautiful works. All right, so going back to Psalms 106 and 21, they forgot Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, their Savior, because that's the only way you can be saved through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. Which the ultimate savior will be Yahweh Shai, because he is the deliverer. All right. And it says, which had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses his chosen stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. Yeah, because in the time when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai was given the laws, all right, to Moses, all right, while he was in the mountain for 30 days, and again, they were making molten calves and gods upon, they were pretty much making sacrifices onto these golden calves, all right, and unto other gods. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai was very pissed. He was filled with wrath, and he wanted to take it out on those people. But Moses, all right, at the time, pretty much begged Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and told him to remember the covenant that he had made with Abraham, okay, that he had made with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. All right. And pretty much it calmed Yahweh Bashim Yahushua down. All right. And he remembered the covenant. And this is why he spared our people, because of what Moses has said. And it says, therefore, he said that he would destroy them had not Moses, his chosen, stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. Yeah, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not in his word. All right. Which our people was always stiff-necked and didn't want to believe in the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. And it says, but murmured in their tents and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them to overthrow them in the wilderness. And a lot of people in the wilderness were put to death, man. You see, you had all these beautiful miracles that were happening. You had, they were pretty much, going through Salakia. What was I just gonna say? Just blocked out the miracles that he was doing in the wilderness. All right, at the rock. He gave them water. Okay, when they were hungry. All right, he fed them quails. Gave them that spiritual manna. That bread from heaven, basically. All right, and they were still complaining. They still wanted more and more, tempting Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. All right, and a lot of people ended up getting put to death in that time. All right, it says to overthrow their seed also among the nations and to scatter them in the lands. They joined themselves also unto Baal Peor and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Thus they provoked him to anger with their inventions, and the plague break in upon them. Then stood up Phinehas, I believe it's Phinehas. All right, and it says, and executed judgment, and so the plague was stayed. And it says, and that was counted unto him for righteousness unto all generations forevermore. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses for their sakes, because they provoked his spirit, so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. You see, same thing today. All right, our people are mingled among the heathen, and we are still learning their works. It talks about that in matter of fact, let me grab that. And First Maccabees. I'll start at 11, and it says, and in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. All right, and it's pretty much the same thing that they were saying in the wilderness, because they were telling Moses, did you bring us out to the wilderness to leave us to die? Because they wanted to go back into Egypt. You see, here it was that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai had delivered them from their enemies, but now they were complaining in the wilderness and wanted to go back into Egypt. All right, so in here, First Maccabees 1 and 11, and in those days went out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go, Salakia, and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this devise pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king and gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. All right, which that exercise was basically the gym, that which is out here today, because that goes back into gymnos. All right, I believe that's it goes into the gym, which I believe that's where they get the gymnasium from, but the root word I think is gymnos, something like that, which means naked. All right, because you had these sick ass damn heathens that were pretty much watching our men butt ass naked doing exercise, man. Ain't nobody more profane than damn Esau. Gymnasium, yeah. Gymnasium goes into gymnos, yeah, which means naked. All right. And it says, and made themselves uncircumcised. All right, because those once you fall into the ways of this damn heathen, all right, you become uncircumcised. And it says, and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. All right, but that's pretty much the point. All right, how our people went around this time, okay, to make covenants with the heathen. Until this day, they're still making covenants with the heathen, taking on the ways of the heathen, on the ways of society. All right, and have no clue that they're even doing it, because you got this damn devil that's got them in the trick bag, man. Shalom, shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah. All right, so going back to Exodus 32 and Salakia, I was actually at where was I? Yeah, Psalms 106. Psalms 106. And yep, 27. And it says, to overthrow their seed also among the nations and to scatter them in the lands, they joined themselves onto Baal Peor and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Thus they provoked him to anger with their inventions, and the plague break in upon them. Then stood up. Let me make sure. I want to get this word, say it right. Phinehas, I believe it is. Give me 1 second. There you go. Phinehas. All right, Phinehas. Won't forget that no more. All right, so it goes back. Then stood up Phinehas and executed judgment, and so the plague was stayed, and that was counted unto him for righteousness unto all generations forevermore. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses for their sakes, because they provoked his spirit, so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. You see, going into that sacrificing to Moloch, because that's what they were doing in those days, man, sacrificing onto Moloch. All right, they were pretty much feeding, man, there was different ways, with these, putting them in the fire, taking their children and sacrificing them onto the fire, which was all to Moloch. You had, so like, I smell something burning. It was the damn candles. you had them, you had our people doing witchcraft and doing sacrifices with their kids, also as in like, like it tells you in let me grab that real quick. Oh, Salakia. Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. They were doing odious works. All right, which they learned from the heathen. All right, this is 12:4. Who hate us for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh, and the feasts of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. All right, following after the heathen, doing the same thing basically. All right, sacrifices, eating of men's flesh, feast of blood. Let me go back to 106, Psalms 106. Slakia. So it says 36, and they served idols which were a snare unto them, which that was always, a snare unto us, because what did it tell you in matter of fact, let me go back to that. I was just in there. Wisdom of Solomon. I think it's in the same chapter actually. 12 and might be 12, 14. That's where it's at. 14 and 12. And it says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. All right. And that was always what basically got us in trouble, man. That's the number one commandment, man, that thou shalt not worship any other gods. All right. Matter of fact, since I'm in Exodus, let's bring that real quick. I'll open up another one. All right. Exodus 20. All right. Why? Because our power is a jealous power. All right. It says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children and unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. All right. And show mercies unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So that's the number one rule, man. And that was always what made our people, man, go into different captivities and things like that, because we were always worshiping other gods, man. This is Baruch 4 and 6, and it says, ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies, for ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of Yahweh coming upon you, she said, hearken, O ye that dwell about Sion, Yahweh has brought upon me great mourning. And I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. You see, so that's why we were always falling into captivity, man, because we were always mainly worshiping upon another name. All right, again, still doing the same thing today. Let's bring that out real quick. Ecclesiastes, oldie but always a good one. All right, 1 and 9, and it says, the thing that has been See, the thing that has been, meaning the thing that was, is that which shall be. So whatever was that happened back in the ancient is going to happen again. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. You see? So, in better words to say it, history always repeats itself. All right. And that's why they came out with that saying, because it's the truth. History always repeats itself after a matter of time. It's usually every 3-4 generations that it repeats itself. All right. So the things that have been done in the ancient is going to be done today. All right. That's why it tells you everything that's written aforetime is written for our learning. All right. So, Slakia. Psalms, going back. Oh, as a matter of fact, while I was in here, let me go back to that. What was it? Which one? Oh, Wisdom of Solomon. Back to 14 real quick. And 27, I think it is. Yep. And it says, for the worshiping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. All right, which you're not even supposed to, which is in Exodus, make mention of any other gods. KJV, I think it's 23. Yep, 23 and 13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect and make no mention of the name of other gods. See, you're not even supposed to fix your mouth to say any of these other gods. All right. Yeah, brothers, sometimes we'll say different names and different gods, but because we're edifying, you know. But trust me, it bothers us for us to come out of our mouths and even fix to say these damn gods' names. All right. So it says, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. You see, so you're not even supposed to be playing around saying other gods' names. Okay. Just sounded like something jumped on my roof. Going back to Psalms 106. Salaki was bouncing around. And here we go. Where was I? 35. I'll start again. 106:35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And their land was polluted with blood. All right. And you're not supposed to pollute the land with blood, man. All right. As a matter of fact, what was that? Numbers. Let me grab that real quick. 35, which this is pertaining to these heathens in Esau, but it's also pertaining on to you wicked ass people that follow after these damn heathens. And it says Numbers 35 and 33, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. All right. So that's why if you've committed murder, all right, and you have not repented on that, you will be put down at one point. All right. You reap what you sow, you reap what you sow. Okay. It says, defile not therefore the land which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell, for I, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, dwell among the children of Israel. All right. Hosea 4:1 says, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, ye children of Israel, for the Lord Yahweh has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of Yahweh in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. All right, sin upon sin. All right, so going back to Psalms 106 and 38, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a whoring with their own inventions. And pretty much why Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai separated from us, all right, and gave us that what? That bill of divorce. Okay, let me grab that real quick. And the Lord gave us a bill of divorce, KJV. Yep. Jeremiah 3 and 8, and I saw when all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, all right, because we're considered as his wife, basically, all right. It says, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce, yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. All right, because at this time, it was really talking about how to the northern kingdom, because you so-called Latinos, all right, and the Indians, all right, yeah, we bad with that. Latino tribes especially, they number one on that list, all right. They pretty much worship anything, all right. But then afterward, all right, you had Judah that came about and followed after their ways eventually. All right, but you see, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, this was the point, that we were looked at as a woman and we committed adultery by sleeping with other gods, all right, going on to these other different heathen nations. And Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah turned away from us and give us a bill of divorce, all right? And when you're given a bill of divorce, that means he's not dealing with you no more, all right? But actually, we came, I think that's in the beginning real quick. Yep. This is Jeremiah 3 and 1. They say, if a man puts away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not the land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You see, after all the different lovers we done slept with, all these different gods, different philosophies and all that, we always tried to turn back to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. You see? And honestly, he don't have to take us back, because what does it tell you in I think it's Deuteronomy 24, I think it is. Yep. It says, when a man has taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of her house. And when she is departed of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her and write a bill of divorcement and giveth it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, because the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, thy power, giveth thee for an inheritance. You see, so we're pretty much defiled after sleeping with all these different gods and different philosophies, all right? But see, the mercy that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, he gave us a chance, all right, to basically fix ourselves up, all right, and to make ourselves what's the word I'm looking for? Made ourselves to bid for the marriage, all right, because we have to make ourselves blameless without blemish. perfect unto the coming of Yahushua. All right, so he could find us worthy to take us back. Okay, but at the end of the day, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua ain't got to take us back at all. And that goes to show how merciful our power is, man. That he constantly gave Israel, all right, chance after chance to fix themselves, man. And the thing is, what helps is the covenant. All right, us being under that covenant, that promise that was given unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua always remembers that covenant, man, because he can't go back off of that covenant. So it says, going back to here, Psalms 106 and 39, thus were they defiled for their own works and went a-whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua kindled against his people, in so much that he abhorred his own inheritance. And he gave them into the hand of the heathen. You see, gave us into the hand of the heathen. Every time we went a-whoring, he would give us up into captivities, man. This is why we were in different captivities under all these different heathens, which at the end of the day, all right, these heathens are going to go into captivity. All right, like it tells you in, let me grab that real quick. Jeremiah 30:16, and it says, I'll start at 15, and it says, I'll start at 14, and it says, all thy lovers have forgotten thee, they seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. All right. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, we were bought back in blood. All right. Through Yahushua, man. So, again, we were given that chance, as always. Now, going back to 106 and 41, and he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them. All right, and they're still ruling over us to this day. Okay, these damn devils have us in slavery now. Just because you don't have the chains and the shackles on your feet doesn't mean you're not into slavery, man. You're in modern day slavery. All right, mentally enslaved. We don't know who we are. Well, we know who we are, but the rest of you 2/3 don't have a damn clue who you are. You think you're black. All right, you think you're you think you're every damn religion in the book other than the true Hebrew Israelite that the Bible speak of. Okay, it says their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought onto subjection under their hand. You see, because we're under their rulership, so they tell us what to do. All right, which that was a curse. That, let me grab that real quick. That was in Jeremiah, Salakia, Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Let me see if I find where it's at. That we shall go for our enemies in the want of all things. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Matter of fact, let me read this. 33 says, I'm passing that. And it says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away. Okay. it says, I think it's up more. The one of all things. There you go. 48, 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. You see, and we go to this day, all right? We still go to our enemies in the want of all things, all right? In nakedness, being shameful, all right? Shamed, in hunger and in thirst, all right? When we should be going after Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, so it says, their enemies also oppressed them. Psalms 106 and 42. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. Many times did he deliver them. Whew. Many times, time after time. All right. But they provoked him with their counsel and were brought low for their iniquity. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when he heard their cry. You see, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua always hears the cry of his chosen. And he remembered them for them his covenant. All right, going back to what I was saying. Every time does he remember of the covenant that was given on to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and repented according to the multitude of his mercies. The beautiful mercy that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has upon his people, man. All right, he is a merciful power, slow to wrath. Okay, believe it or not. At the same time, he's very angry with our people because our people are stiff-necked people. They just don't get it. So after a certain amount of times, ain't no more, being Mr. Nice Guy. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua got to show you what his power about. All right, and it says 106:46. He made them also to be pitied of all those that carried them captives. Save us, O Lord Yahweh, our power, Bahashem Yahushua, and gather us from among the heathen to give thanks unto the holy name and to triumph in thy praise. Which that's going to be, the same thing's going to happen today, because we're crying out to the Lord today, man, to save us from these heathen. All right, to save us from these damn devils that are ruling. Okay, that's why it says when the wicked, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, and we're constantly mourning continually onto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua to get us up out of here. All right, now, especially now that we know this truth. See, we wasn't mourning and crying and weeping. All right, when we was wicked in the world, we was just doing wickedly. All right, but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua had a certain prophecy that we will be woken up after 3 days and a half, man. All right, going into a 350-year period. All right, which it tells you that in Revelations 11. All right, and we were given that breath of life, like it says in Ezekiel 37, when we were the dry bones. So we were given that breath to wake up to this truth. All right, which was all prophecy, and that's where we're at now. He stirred up our minds back to the way of remembrance. All right, like it tells you in Baruch 2:30 that in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves. So we remember ourselves, man, and now we're coming back to our true power. All right, and it says, blessed be the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, power of Israel, for everlasting to everlasting, and let all the people say amen. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right. So going back to Exodus 32, all right, which, again, this is why I compared it to today's society, because the same way that we're worshiping that calf, all right, you are worshiping that calf today, which that calf represents to me, in my spiritual sense of thinking, all right, is America. Because America's that cash cow, and everybody makes America their God in the ways of this society, in the images, all right, because there's many different images, all right, that they take on in this society is you worshiping this damn devil. All right. So let me go back into that. What was yeah. Matter of fact, I just started back from the top. And it says, and when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down on the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And Aaron said unto them, Break the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people break off the golden earrings which were in the ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graven tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. And when Aaron saw it, and he pulled an altar before it, and when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. And the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua said unto Moses, Go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I have commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy powers. This be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, that I may consume them, and I will make thee a great nation. All right. And pretty much this is when it goes into Moses pretty much begging. As a matter of fact, I'll read a little bit of it real quick. It says, And Moses besought the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, his power, and said, Lord, why does thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, For mischief did he bring them out, to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath, and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, all right, thy servants, to whom thou sworest by thine own self, and saidest unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much the point. All right. So lucky. Yeah, that's pretty much the point. So, again, on a spiritual sense, the way I was thinking of it, reading this chapter and meditating on it, our people still in that same spirit, basically, man. Worshiping the ways of the heathen, all right, taking on other gods, all right. And again, because America, okay, like I brought up here, is that cash cow. All right, it says a cash cow is a company or business unit in a mature, slow growth industry. Cash cows have a large share of the market and require little investment. All right, it says right here, cash cow in business jargon is a venture that generates a steady return of profits that far exceed the outlay of cash required to acquire or start it. Of cash required to acquire or start it. All right. It says a cash cow is a metaphor used for a business or a product. All right. So everything in America is about business, is about product. All right. Which at the end of the day, when they bring in this MOTB, all right, you yourself are going to be a product. You're going to be the ultimate slave. You know, you being branded, all right, with that what's that called, the barcode basically on you. All right, you yourself are going to be made a product of this society, being an ultimate slave to Esau. You see, you're going to be his product. All right, all because you wanted to worship the ways of society, worship the images that were given to you. All right, take on the philosophies. All right, so that's pretty much what you know, I was thinking about in that spiritual sense, going into Exodus, you know, the 32nd chapter. All right, how we pretty much are in that same boat today, you know, worshiping that calf in that spiritual sense. All right, so let me see what brothers got over here. Shalom, shalom, y'all, bashim y'all, shabrakata. This is Revelations 11:11. And it says, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Yeah, going into that 350 year period. All right, that was when we were woken up. And it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. You know, going into that time when we get beamed up into them chariots. All right. And, you know, these people are going to be, they're going to be, what does it say in Wisdom of Solomon 5? They're going to be, let me grab that real quick. And the strangeness of his salvation. This is 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. You see, these people are going to be stunned when they see, you know, the elect getting beamed up, and then these devils about to catch straight missiles. They're going to wish that they, you know, just like the rest of this chapter talks about, you know, that we were the ones that had the truth the whole time. Okay, and they didn't take heed of it. You see, they're going to be what? And it says, and they repenting and groaning for the anguish of spirit, shall they say within themselves, this is he whom we had sometimes a derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life a madness, and his end to be without honor. You see, but at the end of the day, remember what you thought was, you know, when you looked at us on these highways and byways, these damn heathens and all these 2/3 looking at us like we were bugged out and crazy. All right, what did Yahweh Bashim Yahushua say? He said he was going to use the poor, all right, to confine the let me grab that real quick. To confound the wise, KJV. This is 1 Corinthians 1:27. But Yahweh has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and Yahweh has chosen the weak things of the world to confine the things which are mighty. You see, because at the end of the day, we are fools for Yahweh's sake, man. But what's foolish to you, all right, is a beautiful thing to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that we're, you know, glorifying the names. All right, so there's a reward for that. All right. And then it says, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. All right, going into when this place gets hit with the nuclear missiles. All right, the 10th part of the city fell. Yeah, because at the time you're gonna have 10 parts America is going to be divided into 10 parts, going into 10 FEMA regions, basically. Okay. This is Proverbs 3:7. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Depart from evil. All right. And that, that's one of that's the duty of man, to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and to keep his law, statutes, and commandments, which was the whole duty of man. All right. And it says, what else we got here? That's right. But yeah, that's pretty much the point. Lord willing, that it was edifying and, was able to understand where I was coming from with it. All right. Like I said, it was on a spiritual sense. I was thinking about it, how America's that cash cow. And we pretty much, not us, but these 2/3 and everybody else worships everything in America, man. So you're worshiping that cash cow. Just like in the times of Exodus 32, they were worshiping upon these the calves. All right. So with that being said, Lord willing, it was edifying. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Holoim, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad. The Hakim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. The water for the scriptures, brothers. Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith.